let's try and work our way through a second translation. We have, I thought I made the right choice when I bought this house, but now it's obvious that I made a big mistake. The problem was that I didn't research the area very well. Well, to start off with, we have I thought, which is obviously in the past. And the verb to think is pensar. So what we need to decide is this a dot or a line? Well, for me, this is a dot because we're talking about a very specific moment in time when I had that decision to make about whether I would buy the house or not buy the house. So I made that decision to buy it, and that's a completed action, so it's a dot. So for I thought, I'm going to be putting pensé. Now, this next bit in here, in English, you could say, I thought that I made the right choice. Normally we wouldn't do it, just say I thought I made, but it would be possible to say I thought that I made, right? So because it is implied in Spanish, you're going to put it in pensé que. Now we have I made, so the verb to do or to make is hacer. And again, this is going to be a dot past for me because I'm still referring to that specific moment when I made this decision. So it would be hice. Next up, we have the right choice. I'd like to concentrate on this first, because remember from an earlier level, we talked about the fact in Spanish how first you say what it is and then you describe it. So the order is kind of reversed. Now, let's say that we don't know what the verb or the word for choice is. So we can just zip over and see what it is. So it's saying elección, and that does make or strike a chord with us in English because you can elect to do something, right? Elect to do this, or I elected to do that. Okay, so we have elección, and it's ending in ion. That category of cognates, as I mentioned before with reservación, they're all feminine words. But again, if you want to check it, you just type in the choice and you see la elección, feminine word. So let's start there. We have the right choice, but in Spanish, it would be la elección with an accent over the O. So that's what it is. Now we want to describe it. So the right choice, we could say like the correct choice, which is a word we've come across before in the course. So it'd be correcta. Now, why did I end that in A instead of O for correcto, right? Because we're referring to a feminine word. The choice, la elección, so Spanish loves to match, loves to agree, so it'd be correcta. Pensé que hice la elección correcta. I thought that I made the right choice. When is cuando. Now we have another past tense to deal with. I bought. Well, the verb is comprar, and again, buying the house was just a single event, a completed event in the past, so it's going to be another dot past. It would be compré. And then this house would be esta casa. So far we have pensé que hice la elección correcta cuando compré esta casa. But now would be pero ahora. It's obvious. Well, let's just put in it's first, which is es. Now this word obvious. Let's check that. So very close. Obvio. Obvio. So going back now. But now it's obvious. Look at that. We just have to get rid of that. Obvio. Pero ahora es obvio that I made a big mistake. So here is going to be que for that. Now in this next bit, we have to be a little bit careful. We want to express I made a mistake. The thing is, in Spanish, they don't say to make a mistake. Instead, they say to commit a mistake. So it's a difference there between English. Let's go and check it. So the verb is going to be to make a mistake. And it's coming back with cometer un error. So we're going to use this, cometer un error, for to make a mistake. Now this is going to be a dot in the past, right? Because it's just a single event where we made this wrong decision. So the verb is cometer. And now we want to manipulate this to say what, to express what we want. So it's going to be cometti for I committed. Now this next section here, a big mistake. There are a certain collection of phrases where Spanish would do it this way, un gran error. So a big mistake, un gran error. We have, pero ahora es obvio que cometí un gran error. We can double check this as well. Put this phrase in. Un gran error. Now, this also works in a lot of other examples, not just with a big mistake, but you'll see that there's a collection of phrases in Spanish where they use this un gran whatever. So this is, es obvio que cometí un gran error. Next up, we have the problem was that I didn't research the area very well. Okay, so the problem, we're going to have el problema. Now we come to a was. As we know, we have 4 choices that we can go with for was. To me, in this instance, it's just a general usage of it is or it was, right? I'm not going to go into a star because I'm not talking about location or mood or, anything transitory like that. It's just a simple general usage of it is or it was. So for that reason, I'm going to go with ser. And this is going to be a dot for me in the past because, again, I'm referring to this specific point in time where I was making this decision. And at that point in time, I didn't research the area very well. So it feels like a dot to me rather than some kind of continuous line. So for that reason, I'm going to go with fue. El problema fue. That is going to be que. Now we have I didn't research. So the verb here is to research. Let's go and check. Let's choose Spanish here. Okay, here it's giving me a mistake because this is not a verb. It doesn't end in AR or ER or IR. But down here you can see we do have investigar. So this is the verb that we want. And it makes sense again in English because to research something in a way is to investigate it, right? So we're going to have investigar as the raw verb. Now we need to manipulate this because we're saying I didn't investigate. So it's an AR verb. So simply go to investigué and I didn't. So it's like no investigué would be I didn't research. No investigué. The area, okay, if you need to check that, we can go back again. La zona. Again, makes sense, right? An area is like a zone. So la zona. And then very well will be muy bien. So we have our full translation here now. Pensé que hice la elección correcta cuando compré esta casa, pero ahora es obvio que cometí un gran error. El problema fue que no investigué la zona muy bien. As you can see, there's a lot of little things here which we had to think about, and this is the mechanical process that we go through when we start doing these translations. Later with practice, after doing many of these, your intuition starts to take over, but in the beginning it is very mechanical like this. From this one we also have new vocabulary that we can add to our Iverson flashcards. We have the choice, la elección. We can have obvious, obvio. To make a mistake, cometer un error. A big mistake, un gran error. To research, investigar. Again, don't put the conjugation, put in the raw verb because of our training, we can now take raw verbs and manipulate them into saying what we want to say. So we use them to express what it is that we want to say. So once we have the raw verb with that, we can manipulate it in any number of different ways. So don't put in the conjugations in your flashcards, always do the raw verb. And then you could also probably put in the area as another one, la zona. This is how we build vocabulary, by using real examples as the language is really used in real life.